Hi, my name is Morgan Brooks, and I am first-generation American. I still believe in classical liberalism and am a huge supporter of capitalism. However, these blanketed terms do not define me, and I am now going to go a little deeper into why I have the beliefs that I do. But first, I would like to take a step back and talk about my parents' background. I'll start with my father. He was born in 1957 in a small Canadian nickel mining town of, at the time, 80,000, named Sudbury, Ontario. By the age of 6, his father got a job in the States, and they left their family behind to live in Long Beach, Compton. Because of this childhood, I was brought up to never leave my bike unlocked because the one time he did, his bike was stolen, to always be on guard when walking alone, and to never feel too comfortable. He moved to Rossmore for middle school and went to LaSalle High School where he met my mom. He had no help paying for school and spent a lot of his childhood helping his family with the budget. He taught tennis lessons to pay for college and got a degree in accounting and finance. He chose to pursue a career in accounting because he was sure that would be the most stable career path. However, he hated it and left to pursue commercial real estate finance. Now, as far as my mother goes, she was born in Denmark in 1959 and moved to the States when she was a kid. She had to teach herself English with the help from her neighborhood friend. She spent her childhood moving back and forth from Denmark to California, always being the new kid. This helped her become very individualistic, which is a trait she passed on to me. She went to Los Alamitos High School and met my dad when she was 16. Her parents worked in the airline industry and expected her to do the same, but it was my father who encouraged her to go to college. She graduated with a business marketing degree. Both my parents are incredibly thankful for the opportunities that are offered in America and consider this their true home. However, both did keep their green cards until 2008 when they eventually became citizens. I have always been taught to be incredibly proud to be an American, but to also never forget my roots. I still celebrate my Danish and Canadian holidays, reminding me always of my family's journey. My family has nightly dinners when I'm at home, and my parents always encourage the kids to speak about their opinions on political and current news. So I was very opinionated at a very young age. My family always finds it really ironic when Americans say they want socialism like some of the Scandinavian countries such as Denmark, because studies have shown that Denmark is one of the happiest places on earth. In fact, my Danish family loved living in the US because of capitalism and the other opportunities offered, and would if they still could. And although I am very proud to be Danish, I would have to point out that Denmark is definitely not the melting pot of the world. They are an extremely homogeneous country with strongly shared values among a population of 5.6 million. For reference of how small that is, LA County has a population of 4 million. Like I explained in my last presentation, Americans do not understand that Denmark's socialism does not include all these free services provided by the government, but instead it is a form of forced savings that is made through a sales tax rate of 25% on everything compared to our 8.75% in LA, and an income tax that is around 55.8%. Now I'm pretty moderate, but when voting, I vote and identify as a Democrat. However, if anyone sincerely thinks Americans in either party are going to benefit from socialism, they truly haven't experienced it. Even my Danish family laughs at the idea. So that was a little bit about why I'm a supporter of capitalism and my parents' background, but I wanted to dive into some of the key concepts of why I am the way I am and my thought process. I grew up feeling very loved and supported as the youngest. There is a 9-year age gap between my brother and I because my parents had a lot of complications. I was always told that I was their miracle and never felt that I was unwanted. I grew up with boys. My brother and all my cousins were all guys and 10 years older, and so at a very young age I saw myself as an equal and wanted to prove that I could do anything a boy could do. I credit this to my brother Ian because he always roughhoused with me and never didn't include me because I was a girl like most siblings tend to do. I think this is where my interest in feminism came from. I now am a really proud feminist, and for those who do not know, feminism is the equality between men and women, not the man-hating bra-burning club some might assume. I believe in equal pay and the freedom to choose. As far as in the realm of business, I know that progress has been made, but there is still a lot further to fight. I mean, in the short time even working, I have either been harassed or dealt with some sort of sexist remarks in each company I've worked for. To be a woman in business and just in life, one must have a thick skin, and that is something my mother really instilled in me. She always says that you can't let them get to you. You can't let them win. My family loves music. My parents raised my brother and I on David Bowie, Roxy Music, Cher, Blondie, Iggy Pop, Nirvana, and many more. My first concert was Devo at age 6. By the age of 9, my favorite band was the Ramones. However, when in class, when we talked about anarchism, it of course appealed to my punk background. A lot of punk music talks about snake government and how we must rise up and rise against. However, they also talk about the capitalist pigs, and that's where I'm like, that's where we might disagree. That's where I might be in the boat of Ayn Rand a little more. Because as you may remember, both my parents grew up very middle class and both pursued business as a practical way of supporting themselves. I never understood why people did not want to pursue business because our entire world revolves around it. And I think that it goes back to the bad connotation around business people. However, I feel that if business classes were implemented in high school like foreign language or history, people would have a better understanding of their finances and how the economy worked in general, and there would be less tension against business. People always assume that business people have malicious motives when in reality, I'm in a business fraternity and the majority of us are not crazy rich or anything, but instead are trying to make a practical living for ourselves. My parents, when they got married, had no money because they were paying their way through school and sat on suitcases because they had no furniture. I grew up in a nice home in Orange County with a great childhood. However, my dad worked for Washington Mutual during the 2008 financial crisis, and that was a really nerve-wracking time for my family. Ultimately, his commercial real estate group was bought by JP Morgan when WAMU failed, and he now currently runs the commercial real estate group for the entire United States at JPMC. While that did work out, I was thankful that my family had saved for the recession because it was not a good time for us. At the end of the day, I want a life where I can travel and visit my family and give my kids the wonderful opportunities I have been given, whether that be sports or arts, traveling, pets, or private school. All of it costs money, and I'm ready and willing to work for it.